Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is, of course, Mike with Nibiru News and SomeOne'sBones.com. Today, I have something very special, something that has been asked for. I have an audio, and at least here a part, a video interview with one of my key sources, one of my key Russian sources, former KGB agent Strelnikov Isaac Stepanovich. How are you doing today, Strelnikov?
All right. It's okay, but I would prefer to call me, it's all right. Strelnikov's fine.
Strelnikov is good. Okay. I mean, if you want me to call you Agent Stepanovich or former Agent Stepanovich or Mr. Stepanovich, I'm comfortable with whatever form of address you prefer.
Yes, I prefer Strelnikov, please.
Okay. Are you comfortable with doing the video, or would you rather not do the video interview?
I would rather not. I mean, no problem, but I prefer to talk.
Okay, no problem. I'd be happy to shut the video. Not a problem. And go ahead and kill that camera, and we can do without that.
Thank you.
Okay, let me get rid of you here. Let me just, I'll just shrink it down so tiny that nobody could possibly see it. And I have no need to have myself up there either in that case, since everybody already has a pretty good idea what I look like by now. Anyway, it is a pleasure to have you on today, Mr. Stepanovich. First, I'd like to thank you for agreeing to do an audio interview, a part video, I guess. The listening audience knows that I've written countless articles based on information you've provided exclusively to me. I know you are a wealth of knowledge, but today I'd like to focus on a single topic: Vladimir Putin's war against an extraterrestrial race called the Anunnaki. Before we get there, though, would you be willing to give us a little of your backstory, your education, work history, and your relationship to Vladimir Putin?
Yes, Mike, but please, I don't like all this Mr. This and Mr. That. Just call me Strelnikov. In Russia, we very much informal, we sit around, drink vodka, sing songs, and tell jokes. I listened to your other interviews with two scientists who are, how you say, anal retentive, right? Demanding you to address them as doctor.
Yeah.
Just cynical, and I would like it to be like that in the future.
Okay, not a problem. Like I said, I will be happy to call you any name you find acceptable.
Right.
And no problem. We like to keep things informal here on Someone's Bones and Nibiru News. So, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Let me think where to start. After high school, I conscripted to Russian military. My VUS, this is sort of Russian equivalent to United States Army, MOS. I was like an intelligence scout. I became very fascinated with gathering information and espionage. When I leave Army, I go to KGB, but they turn me down.
I see. Turned you down?
Yes, they did. They said I had good military service, but they were recruiting only two types of people: those with college degree and a few for suicide missions. Agent told me if they recruit me, then I would be sent to a mission and probably not come home. So I went to college.
Probably a wise choice given the opportunities you had at the time. What did you study in school?
I graduated from St. Petersburg State University with master's degree in political science, focusing on strategic arms and control studies. When I graduated, I got back to KGB and say, here's my military record, here's my diploma, give me a job. So they checked me out and they said, okay, maybe. I passed all assessment tests and training regimen and was introduced into KGB. And then I worked as junior analyst in Moscow. I hoped for excitement, but job was very, very boring desk job. Tedious, About 1 year later, I catch a lucky break. I personally exposed an MI6 and a Mossad agent who had infiltrated into the Ministry of Defense. So they sent me to London as an assistant to the military attaché. Very, very nice ladies in London. You know?
Sure.
And after that, the people up chain of command take notice of my achievement and promoted me to KGSID, this Special Investigation Division. And this is where I began to learn the things really going on in this world, like Nibiru and Anunnaki, you know?
Before we go there, it's my understanding that you were terminated from the KGB and did not leave of your own free will. Would you care to elaborate on that?
It was a termination. It was not really a termination. No one ever really leaves the KGB. I was relieved of duty because I had learned so much that I was more, you know, useful outside than inside of agency. The way I see it, President Putin wanted me to expose the truths to the world. As an active KGB agent, I could never do that. But officially, free of the agency's grasp, I could disclose sensitive information. It should be obvious that President Putin is protecting me.
It would certainly seem so. So just to clarify, President Putin, you believe, is using you as an instrument of disclosure. Why would he not just do it himself?
Mike, he cannot present certain issues because he has many enemies. Some topics are too controversial. The fifth column in government and outside world would say that he is like on a wild goose chase in the near abroad, or Syria. In Syria, they would say that we are in Syria not to eliminate the terrorist threat, but to pursue some imaginary enemies from space. No? Then the Washington Post would say that President Putin has caught some contagious mental illness or disease when President Trump sneezed. Then Moscow Times and the other Russian pro-NATO liberal papers would all scream out, "It's a contagion. Putin has gone mad like Trump."
The fifth column, could you give us a little more information?
Look, some hopeful politicians and journalists and businessmen also are working for the West and would not miss the opportunity. You know, President's popularity is great, but his enemies are just waiting for their chance to get him. I'm not the only one, you know. President Putin is using others like me. He wants to disclose information he cannot.
Information like what your government calls the Anunnaki threat?
Among other things, yes.
Let's focus there for a second. To start, can you tell us when your government learned of this race and give us a little background on how Putin determined that they were, shall we say, not very friendly?
Sometimes in late 2012, and I cannot remember the exact date, you know, we began receiving intelligence reports of extraterrestrial, extraterrestrials in conflict areas like Syria, Afghanistan, Georgia, Ukraine, you know. Many reports surface of extraordinarily tall humanoids, 3 to 5 meters. I'm sure you've heard of the Kandahar giant. That's just one of many. What we learn is that this race of evil ETs will seek out hotspots, places of conflict where they can camouflage themselves within the carnage of war. So they appear at battle sites and take corpses of dead and sometimes abduct the living. These stories go unreported because it is easy to explain as battle-induced acute stress and hallucinations.
How convenient. If these events, however, have happened beyond Russia's sovereign borders, in Syria and other nations, why does Putin care?
Because unlike Western leaders, President Putin recognizes this vermin are a great threat to humanity. If we do not fight them in Syria, we will have to fight them in Stalingrad.
Stalingrad? I thought Stalin was not to be mentioned in the new Russia under President Putin.
I was in Paris and they have Stalingrad metro station. So you Westerners think that you can have Stalingrad and us Russians cannot have Stalingrad. That's nonsense.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying that. And I would never presume to demand political correctness from Russians when I hate it here in America. Anyway, these Anunnaki, what is their disposition? How strong are they?
Unfortunately, it is hard to track exactly how many Anunnaki are currently in this area. In the kill one, many more seem to appear.
Okay, now that we're getting into your nation's efforts to eradicate the Anunnaki, can you tell us how exactly Putin plans to defeat a technologically and potentially numerically superior foe?
Some things I can say, some I cannot. Yeah. Early on, we discovered that Anunnaki were resilient to small arms, fire, like Kalashnikov bullets. Yeah. Usually did not work on them. President Putin, I would say, he gave a secret executive order to organize nationwide effort to defeat this monster. Military base in Ural. You know Ural Mountains?
Right.
It was repurposed as a top secret ET, like extraterrestrial research center, to train Russian special services and to develop technology capable of reducing these Anunnaki.
I see. I presume you're referring to the Moskoya facility, and I'd like to return to that in a minute. Can you tell me about Russia's earliest skirmishes with the Anunnaki and the outcome of those engagements?
At first, outcome was bad, very bad. We did not know their defense technologies. We received reports. We sent Stuxnaus to chase them through vast networks of caves in Syria. We lost many combats there. Our bullets often bounce out of them, you know. And they slaughter our soldiers like pigs in mud. They have plasma-based weapons and also use energy spears to skewer our fighting brothers. We lost maybe 200 men before finding a place in their armor where we can shoot them.
Yeah, a tragic loss of Russia's fighting men. How did your nation discover a weakness in the Anunnaki?
Yeah, that's during an engagement. One Anunnaki mistakenly wounded another, and our Russian survivors of this battle captured the wounded beast and took it to Medjugorje. Our top scientists tried to interrogate it, but no luck. We could not understand their language. They speak in chirps and shirts, so if it could understand us, it never let us know. Since interrogation not possible, we do next best things, science. So we exposed the Anunnaki to extreme heat, extreme cold, acid, even Novichok poison. Nothing worked. Finally, after many months, we discovered two weaknesses. Acoustic weapons of certain frequencies cause Anunnaki much pain and make them fall to the ground. Also, they can be killed by energy-based weapon like a laser, a 10 kilowatt laser, powerful enough to vapor a single Anunnaki. And this happened. That test subject died. Unfortunately, these weapons right now are large and must be vehicle-mounted. We are training troops with handheld versions, but right now these are only strong enough to stun the smaller Anunnaki, but certainly not all.
Fascinating. Do you know how many encounters have Russian special services had with the Anunnaki?
Yes. 7 that I'm aware of. This does not count the recent bombings of Anunnaki enclaves in Syria.
You say bombings. Bombs, in my mind, are considered conventional weapons.
Yes. Special ordnance developed by Ministry of Defense. I do know technical schematics, but in addition to explosion, like the weapons release energy pulse on detonation that damages Anunnaki brains.
Well, if that being said, and if that's true, then Putin should have no problem wiping all the existing Anunnaki off the face of the planet.
If only it was so easy. Anunnaki have a unique form of transportation. They use portals which only they can see. They teleport instantaneously from one location to another. If they see the attack coming, they can strike back, and this has happened, or they can vanish through a portal and reappear somewhere else, maybe thousands of miles away. We speculate that the portals of fixed location instead installed by the Anunnaki in previous years, and we have no idea how many of these portals are on the planet. It could be millions for all we know, maybe even back to their homeworld.
And based on what you know, where is that?
Russian intelligence believes the Anunnaki are natives of the 5th and 7th planet of Nibiru system.
How did Putin or whomever with the Ministry of Defense come by that information?
Because they told us so.
Some clarification is needed here, Strelnikov. Earlier, a few minutes ago, you said communication with the Anunnaki was impossible. That being so, how was this information delivered?
Yes, in that statement I referred only to the captured one, the captured Anunnaki, who would not or could not communicate. But like I said, we had many engagements with these evil creatures. Some times ago, after we killed nearly 200 of them in a fight, an Anunnaki emissary reached out to President Putin and offered him an ultimatum. This time he spoke perfect Russian.
Where did this contact happen?
It materialized near Ministry of Defense headquarters and demanded to speak with Putin. Very tall, 4 meters, translucent skin, phasing in and out of existence. Mike, I'm out of time for this today, for this talk.
No problem, Strelnikov. You do not know how grateful I am to you for sharing with us this incredibly important story. I hope that you will agree to chat with me again, as there's certainly a lot more information about the Anunnaki to cover, and yes. I would like to conclude with that topic before we dive into other topics.
All right, Mike. I will be in touch with you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Strelnikov. You have a good afternoon.
Thank you.